It is better for you to put your money in bonds than for you to put your money in the bank, in a savings account. Anytime you invest your money in bonds, you run the risk that your investments, your capital may not be paid back. It is called credit risk. And that is the first type of risk that we have when it comes to bond investments, when it comes to investments in bonds. Because in the last video where I spoke about the 4 types of bonds that we have in Nigeria, I mentioned the fact that the remaining types of bonds, aside from the FGM bonds, they are subject to risk. They are subject to risk, which means the moment you invest your money in them, there's the likelihood that your money will not be paid back. And that is what we called credit risk. And that's why I also suggested, it was of my opinion, that FGM bonds is the safest form of investment when it comes to investment bond, which is called the sovereign bonds. So credit risk is applicable to every other form of bonds investment. So you need to understand this, especially if you want to be the kind of person who wants to earn multiple streams of income from passive investments. So you need to understand this, because if you want to invest in corporate bonds, for instance, you need to know that there's credit risk. What if that business fails? What if that corporation fails? What happens to your capital? What happens to your investments? Yes, there may be backup, but don't forget, things happen and you may have to lose your money. Life is full of risk. So that is number 1, credit risk. Number 2 type of risk is called, when you are investing in bond investments, is called prepayment risk. Prepayment risk. Prepayment risk is the risk that is involved in an investment when it is likely that your investments or your capital may be paid back before the maturity date. There's a likelihood that your capital or your investments may be paid back before the maturity date. What do I mean? It means if you are investing, let's say 5 years bond, it is likely that before the maturity date, which is the 5th year, your money or your capital may be returned back to you. It is called prepayment risk. And in most of these kind of bond investments, it will be stated in the offer, or it will be stated in the prospects. You will see it. The question you need to ask is it a kind of investment with call option? It is the bond we call the bond investment with call option. It means it is callable. The moment a bond investment has a call option, it means it has prepayment risk embedded in it, inherent in it. So that is another form of risk involved in bond investments. But the advantage of that is that at the beginning, in the prospects, in the offer that is being issued, it would have been well stated that this bond investment has a call option. So especially when you are investing in corporate bond, I've said it before in the last video that corporate bond is different from commercial papers. So that is the second type of risk, called prepayment risk. The likelihood that your money, your capital will be paid back before maturity dates. What is the last type of risk involved in investment bond, in bond investment? It is inflation risk. Every form of investment, except for some form of investment that have the ability to hedge against inflation, maybe for instance some types of real estate investments, they have the ability to hedge against inflation. Maybe, even the aspect of shares is on a long run, not on a short run. So most of the investment that we have don't have the ability to hedge against inflation, and investment bond is also part of it. For instance, in Nigeria, the FGM bonds that we have is currently paying 17.3%, 18.3%, depending on the tenor. Now, what is the inflation risk? According to the Bureau of Statistics, for the last one that was done for the month of July, our inflation is at 33.5%. So you can see the difference, even though that's not the cumulative. It is just a single year digits. It is just for a year. but it's not the cumulative. If it were to be the cumulative, it will be lesser than that. So that is the risk that is involved. But remember, I made a video where I said, is treasury bill still worth it? I said, it is worth it. FGM bonds investment is worth it if you don't have any other thing you will put your money into. If you don't have any other form of investment that will hedge against inflation, it is better for you to put your money in bonds than for you to put your money in the bank, in a savings account. Just know that and invest wisely. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly do by clicking on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we release a new video. On this channel, we talk about investment, finance, we talk about real estate as well, and we talk about business. So we meet in our next video. Stay blessed.